Now, if you could put yourself in a blender and speak from yourself, in a third person, how would you describe yourself?
This is gonna sound like a resume, I feel like. Um, I would say Melanie is a very passionate person who's expressive, creative, and um, you know, I was gonna do whatever it takes to follow her dreams, to make music a career.
All right, and
That
going from there, so how would you define success for yourself? Say 5, 10 years down the line, are you looking for that huge touring deal and major label, or would a smaller thing with more creativity work for you, or does that not matter and it's just about appealing to the fan base and building relationships?
I think every artist who really wants to make a career of it looks at success as being, um, having music as your main source of income and being able to live not only comfortably but well off of music. And I would love to do huge tours and sold out stadiums and the whole 9 yards. But I think that success is just defined as how happy you are, and kind of how happy you are doing what you're doing in the moment. Um, so yeah, I think if I was to follow that definition, I would say that I'm already successful, and because I'm doing what I love. Maybe not 100% of the time. I still have a waitressing job and things that are kind of keeping my finances afloat. But if there were to come a time where I was able to kind of wean off of those secondary sources of income and just have a full-time music career, I think that would be success for me.
Okay, and what is the greatest compliment somebody could give you about your music?
Just that it touched them or it changed them in some way. When I write songs, it's not I write them from a place and a perspective, and I'm thinking about a situation in a certain way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else who listens to it has to have that same experience. I would love for my songs to relate to them and to relate to their experiences and kind of help them along and help their situations. Um, my producer and his wife through their tragedy, that really was important to me because it's my greatest success as a songwriter, that they felt like their lives were changed and they were helped by music that I wrote. So, yeah, I think that's the greatest compliment is just having somebody be truly affected by something that I've created, which is kind of crazy because I'm just one person. But I think that would be the best compliment.
Nice, nice. So, i- how would you say that you've matured since when you started doing music?
I think I have a better idea now of what I want it to sound like and what I want to be writing about. And I think that's always developing. I think as I've lived here, I've changed, and I'll continue to kind of transform this idea of what I sound like. I think even successful artists, like you hear Taylor Swift, for example, starts out like very country, and now she's like almost completely pop. And I think that's just kind of a process for all musicians. Music changes over time, and I think for me, it's just it's moving towards what I once thought was the best style and the best thing to write about to what I now think is just because of experiences that I've had. And you'll keep having experiences and you'll keep kind of adjusting um, that little radar.
So could you see yourself moving from country eventually and, dwelling in, the rock scene or the pop scene?
Possibly, yeah. Right now, I think my music is a mix of like country, pop, and rock. But I do see, me fluctuating, maybe favoring one or the other down the road. And a lot of it is production based. So you can write a song, and just based on the way it's produced, it can be completely country, it can be completely pop. It's it's largely who you decide to collaborate with, who you decide to work with, and how well that they see your vision, how well they interpret the song. So I'm very fortunate because I feel like I've so far surrounded myself with people who understand that vision and can kind of get behind it and help me get the music where I hear it in my head.
Now, being a person that works, two jobs like yourself, how does it make you feel inside? Say when you're, at a waitressing job, you're having a real rough day, and you're all stressed out, and people treat you like you're a peon when in reality you're a country star, but some of them don't know that.
I think that how we treat people comes back around. I haven't had a lot of extremely negative serving experiences, but there are definitely days when people they're very self-involved and they don't really see that they're paying my rent, or they're kind of helping me do music, which is my passion. And I think that I don't know, I think that just staying strong and also using experiences you have as inspiration for songs. If I have a bad day at work, it's not just kind of absorbed in a negative way. It can be transformed to be something positive, to be inspiration, or to be something that's going to, be twisted into a positive light.
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt bad for, waitresses, doing whatever, because it seems like in other areas people will, tip somebody, but when it comes to restaurants, a lot of times they get, the sort of short change. And being a musician and you depend on that money, that really has to be hard at times. So how do you deal with it and still, continue to, make, music and just put that, those hard times aside?
I just think it's like, I don't know. We only make like $2 or some change an hour, plus whatever tips we get. So I think a lot of the thing that keeps me going is there are a lot more generous and kind people out there than there are negative people. So for every kind of bad table you get, maybe, you kind of just brush it off and think, you know what, now that table's gone and it's a new start. The next person who sits down, this can be a completely new experience. I'm going to do my best to, cater to your needs and to make you happy. I think people assume, sometimes they'll get their food messed up or something, and they assume that, it's our desire that they have a bad dining experience. And I just, it's not in our best interest that they have a bad dining experience. And it's in our best interest that they have a good experience and they want to come back and they want to tip us well. So, I think just exercising a little patience sometimes would be needed, and just being you pick your own attitude for the day. And I think that if you decide to go into work with a very positive attitude and thinking, this is a means to an end. I'm serving so that I'm able to do what I love and to write songs and to be down here in Nashville and sing music. I think that kind of making that your attitude or your mantra helps with some of the more difficult people to deal with. I think that it makes it worth it. It's like, okay, that might have been a bad table, but I'm also down here. I'm extremely lucky. I'm doing exactly what I love to do, and I think that gets you through some of the tougher days.
And I really think that will help you in the long run too, because you're gonna, as you get bigger in the country music scene, you're going to deal with fans out there that are belligerent and everything else. And the fact that you are a waitress and you know how to deal with them situations are going to make those times a lot easier for you. And the main thing, the reason I brought that up is because in this day and age, it's no secret to anyone. Everything's about digital, downloads. I mean, you hand your CD out and everything. But nowadays, people want to know who the artist is rather than, okay, yeah, they put an album out, but are they fake or are they genuine?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that, it's definitely, and I try through my songs to kind of share a little bit of who I am as well. But, yeah, I mean, this, definitely helps me connect with my fans. This is a great medium, and I thank you so much for having me on and letting me kind of share this with some of my friends and my fans. And, I think that, as I have more experiences, there's more that I want to talk about and more that I want to share with people.
And that's what it's about. It's about networking. A lot of people forget that. Some people get the money and, totally forget it is about the fans and it is about the experiences. And it seems like you got a real good, head on your shoulder and everything. So outside of, you're very welcome. So outside of music, who's your favorite actor? Who really inspires you outside of music? As far as like movies and stuff like that.
I guess I'm a English nerd. I went to school for English, so I read a lot of books, and there is a book, I forget what it's called. I know my mom would know exactly what it is, but it's about what the movie Lone Survivor is based on. I don't know if you saw it. It just came out. Maybe in January or something like that.
I have not.
It's based on the life of Marcus Luttrell. He's a serviceman, a Navy SEAL who went in and, the book's just all about his experience, and it's a true story. I think that it's admirable how we have these heroes, in Hollywood. You have heroes in Hollywood and you have heroes, in athletics and stuff like that. But I think a lot of the real heroes are, people who go out there every day and risk their lives and, do the impossible just so that we can have a good life here and have freedom of choice. And I, that's one of my main heroes. I know my cousin graduated from West Point, and he's probably going to go overseas sometime next year. And I think people like that as our servicemen and women, I really look up to, and I really think that they have, an awesome. They're deserving of honor, and they're deserving of our respect. So.
I agree, except for you're shortchanging yourself. Because in my eyes, being, a radio DJ or whatever you want to call me, I find, that the true heroes outside of the soldiers and the firefighters and the, police officers that are doing the right thing, are really the musicians. Because think about it. You all, every day, go out and you bust your tail, play in front of crowds that you don't know. And, you may play for, 10 people. You may play for a couple hundred people. But you never know the outcome that's going to come about that. And you still do it. You still strive. You still are dedicated to do what you got to do or what you feel the need to do. And to me, that is a hero.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's about keeping the faith and having confidence in what you do and, seeing everything through to the end. I think that's what all musicians try to strive for.
All right. Well, I think I've asked you enough, personal questions and whatnot. Unless you have a road story that you'd like to share or, an interesting story.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's not a problem whatsoever. All right, so where can people